Have you ever caught yourself replaying an old moment in your head over and over again? Maybe it was something you said that you wish you hadn't, or a decision you didn't make when you had the chance. It's strange, isn't it? How the mind keeps dragging us back to scenes we can't change, as if we're being haunted by echoes of our own choices. But what if regret isn't just emotional punishment? What if it's a hidden message from your past, trying to teach you something vital about who you are? Imagine this. You're lying in bed. The room is dark. The world is quiet. And suddenly, your brain decides to remind you of that one awkward moment from years ago. The thing no one else even remembers, but for some reason, it feels fresh, like it happened yesterday. You turn over, sigh, maybe even whisper, "Why did I do that?" But the question isn't really about the past. It's about the present. Regret is your mind's way of measuring who you are now against who you used to be. You see, psychologically speaking, regret is one of the most complex emotions we experience. It's not just sadness, or guilt, or disappointment. It's a blend of all three, wrapped around a single idea. Something could have been different. The human brain evolved this feeling for a reason. Regret helps us simulate alternate realities, mental what-ifs. It's like a built-in time machine that allows us to run emotional experiments on ourselves. We imagine how life could have gone, and in doing so, we learn. Or at least we're supposed to. But here's the thing. The same mechanism that helps us grow can also trap us. Because when the imagination turns backward too often, we start to live in the ghost version of our life, the one that never happened. Psychologists call this counterfactual thinking. It's when we imagine alternative outcomes, what might have been if we'd acted differently. There are two types. The first is upward counterfactual thinking. If only I'd done better, things would be better now. The second is downward counterfactual thinking. It could have been worse. Interestingly, both are useful in their own way. Upward regret pushes us to improve. Downward regret helps us find gratitude. But when we get stuck in the upward kind, constantly thinking about the better version of events, we suffer. Think about it. The moments we regret most are rarely about what we did wrong. They're often about what we didn't do, the words we never said, the opportunities we never took, the relationships we let fade because we were too busy or too afraid or just didn't think they mattered at the time. That's the irony. Our deepest regrets usually come from inaction, not action. Because inaction leaves behind an empty space, a blank chapter our minds keep trying to fill in. Here's a story. A man in his 60s once told a psychologist about a letter he never sent. Decades earlier, he'd fallen in love but never confessed it. "I thought there would be time," he said. "But time has this funny way of pretending it's infinite until it's not." He still thought about that letter 50 years later. Not because of what could have been, but because of what never got the chance to be. That's the quiet ache of regret. It's not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes, it's just a whisper that says, "You could have been more." So, why does regret linger so long? Neuroscience offers an answer. Regret activates the orbitofrontal cortex, a region of the brain tied to decision-making and emotional learning. When we replay an old mistake, this part of the brain tries to rewire itself, almost like it's saying, "Let's figure out what went wrong so it doesn't happen again." But here's the twist. The brain doesn't always know when to stop analyzing. It keeps the emotional circuit open, even when the lesson's already learned. That's why regret feels endless. It's not your imagination. It's your neurology. Ever notice how regret hits hardest at quiet times? It's because silence removes distractions. And in that silence, the past comes knocking. But maybe the haunting isn't punishment. It's reflection. The past visits when the present feels uncertain. When we don't like where we are, our minds drift to where we could have been. Regret, in this sense, isn't about the past at all. It's about a mismatch between your current self and your imagined self. But here's the paradox. The more you run from regret, the more power it has. Avoidance gives it energy. Acceptance takes it away. Because regret, like pain, is information. It's telling you something real, something useful. Maybe it's pointing to a value you ignored. Maybe it's reminding you of courage you didn't use. Maybe it's showing you the kind of person you want to become. Psychologist Daniel Pink once studied thousands of people to understand regret. He found that across cultures, ages, and backgrounds, for core regrets kept showing up. Foundation regrets, things like not taking care of your health, not saving money, not building stability. Boldness regrets, not taking a chance when you could have. Moral regrets, moments when you didn't live up to your own values. Connection regrets, letting important relationships fade. And here's what's striking. Most people's deepest regrets were about boldness and connection. Not failing, but not trying. Not losing someone, but not reaching out. Regret doesn't come from falling, it comes from never jumping. So what do we do with it? How do we live with the ghosts without letting them run our lives? First, we name it. When you can say, yes, I regret this, you take away its shadow. It becomes something you can see and learn from, not something that quietly controls you. Second, we extract the lesson. Ask yourself, what was this regret trying to show me? And finally, we use it as a compass. The things you regret most often point directly to what you care about most. If you regret not spending time with loved ones, it means connection matters deeply to you. If you regret not speaking up, it means authenticity matters. Regret, when seen clearly, reveals your values. There's a famous Japanese art form called kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold. Instead of hiding the cracks, they highlight them, turning the flaw into something beautiful. Maybe that's what regret is for. It's not meant to erase the past. It's meant to illuminate it, to show where you've been and what you've learned along the way. But here's the twist most people never realize. We often regret things because our values evolve. The person you are now is judging the choices of a person you used to be, someone with less knowledge, less experience, and a different worldview. So of course it feels wrong now. But it wasn't wrong then. You've grown. Regret, in that sense, is proof of growth. It's the shadow of wisdom forming behind you. Think about that. The fact that you regret something means you've changed. The pain of regret is the echo of transformation. It's your mind catching up to your maturity. The past haunts you not to punish you, but to remind you you've become someone who sees differently now. So next time regret comes knocking, don't push it away. Invite it in. Sit with it. Listen. Ask, what are you trying to teach me? And then let it go. You can't rewrite the past, but you can stop rereading it. Because every moment you spend looking back steals a moment you could use to move forward. Here's something to try. Write down one regret that still lingers. Then, next to it, write the lesson it taught you. You'll start to see that regret isn't the end of a story. It's the midpoint. The place where you finally learn what the first chapters were trying to say. And maybe, just maybe, that's how the past stops haunting you. Not when you forget it, but when you finally understand it. In the next video, we'll explore the strange psychology of forgiveness, and why forgiving yourself might be the most difficult, yet liberating thing you ever do. If you found this eye-opening, subscribe for more calm, insightful tales of the mind.